This week's episode of the multiple award-winning Here For It podcast
guys so much.
Is brought to you by Extensions. Apparently, Hot Girl Summer is being extended this Friday, with Megan Thee Stallion dropping a new single featuring the original Hot Girl, Nicki Minaj.
How you doing, Wendy? Why wait to go commercial when this come at? Wendy could take it. Wendy.
We have an anti-guest here, and I'm going to introduce him momentarily. But first, I want to make sure that we started out the show talking about that extension because I'm not ready for summer to be over. I still got plenty of shit that I have not worn yet that I've got to take pictures in, beaches that I have to be naked on and fuck on, and I ain't done it yet. So I'm here for extended Hot Girl Summer.
And I still got Amazon tracking shipments going on. So the summer can't be over before my package get here. And my package gonna be here in 2 days, aka Hot Girl Summer, Megan Thee Stallion featuring Nicki Minaj, $.
Hot Girl Summer has been extended.
Thank you.
Thankfully. I am the Superman, TheeSupaman, aka your top's secret top. BKA the Cinnamon Brown Trade.
My name is Ronald Matters. Follow me on the internet at Ronald Matters. And of course, RonaldMatters.com. Guest.
Who is you, Sharon?
Huh?
I am Xem Van Adams of Xem Says on YouTube and .com.
Tumblr. I seen you on there.
We're not promoting Tumblr. We are not promoting Tumblr.
Twitter. Okay.
Xem Says on Twitter.
Tell them what your freak Twitter is as well.
XEMSAYS.
Absolutely.
Because the girls hear Zem, I'm like, Z-E.
Oh, yeah. XEMSAYS. That's
Thank
correct.
you.
And you can find him on the YouTubes. He has been on YouTube for over 10 years.
Woo!
And is
How
one
many
of
millions
the,
of views you got at this point?
I don't know. I don't.
We really should have got a resume.
We got to get people to send their resumes. Well, I've known his resume for as long as I've been on social media, and y'all know if I'm old, I'm
grown.
He's been around the block.
I'm very grown.
2.3 million views,
Oh.
according to YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. So that's that. That's a lot of views.
Welcome to the podcasting world.
I appreciate
Start
you
your
guys having
podcast.
me. I do. I was saying in the elevator, like, so many people have been pushing me to do it. So when I got invited here, I was excited. This is something that I've thought about, but I don't have the consistency that you two have. 2.5 years.
Not yet. You haven't figured out what you're passionate about enough yet to be consistent.
But yeah.
But maybe today you will.
I feel like
I hope so.
A song by Whitney written by R. Kelly, but I can't remember the name of it, so I'm just gonna move on.
It's canceled then.
If
it's written by R. Kelly.
What's our icebreaker this
Our
week?
icebreaker this week is, now that we've had 2 more rounds of presidential debates, if you had to vote today, which candidate would you vote for?
Marianne Williamson. That was the joke. I don't get that one.
What is your?
I'm coming back around to Marianne Williamson.
Marianne Williamson was my joke. Elizabeth is my answer, just because she got a policy for everything, and none of them I've read have sounded dumb. So let's go with that.
Okay.
So sorry, guest, for interrupting, but
No. I genuinely, honestly, and I know a lot of people would probably not understand, but I don't feel connected enough yet to really sit back in this moment, like right now, in this time, to say that there's
Man,
one
them
candidate who truly represents the black community wholeheartedly, the LGBT community wholeheartedly, like a balanced candidate, because we have to consider the fact that the individual going into office more than likely will only be in there for 4 years. They'll probably only do 1 term. So the individual needs to be balanced in their perspectives across the board, and it's always Yeah, I don't think I can identify one. I already know who yours is, and I have so many. I have so many issues so many issues with her.
The problem.
What's your answer though? Because when you got your answer,
if you are a listener of Here for a Podcast, you already know I support Kamala Harris fully and wholeheartedly. But the issue that I have with people that don't want to pick a side, we did that 4 years ago. Bernie's my guy,
and that's the
and that shit failed us last time because we're trying to be in a relationship with a presidential candidate,
which is why I know
you're not fucking them. They're not coming home to you every night. You have to be able to just trust them to run the government.
I want my Texas
this
to come
bitch
back
that I picked has run governments before.
I want my Texas to come back cute,
but like I said, it's very tough right now to choose a candidate who.
We don't have one. We're not going to have one.
Yeah.
We're not going to have that. And so you have to pick somebody that's going to win and be able to run the government. That's it. I'm not running for president, so you can't pick me.
Oh, man.
What did the girl from Hawaii say? There's even a meme on there because Kamala is waving to somebody.
Was not ready for that last debate.
Kamala did
she was very caught off guard.
That was my girl, and then that was like
because
watching the fight.
I thought that she would come in knowing that the fire was going to be thrown at her. She seemed
and Joe Biden. Joe Biden is one. And she's
taken aback. I thought she would be prepared with her resume. She would want to.
As a prosecutor, she's going to be a prosecutor president, and she's proud of her track record.
Yeah,
no,
that's what she said multiple times.
She did. And so I do think that there's problems in her track record because she was a law enforcement official, but that is her job. And she was supposed to.
My father and I were discussing that on Sunday. It's very tough. The slope here is because of her position. You have to look at her professional decisions separate from sometimes maybe her personal beliefs, because everything that we perform professionally isn't always an extension of our own, personal beliefs. Yeah. So regardless, as we agreed on that, but still it's just kind of like
Obama's supposed to help black people. Y'all apply that to Kamala.
And I'm with you. Though I can look at things logically, emotionally, I'm with you. And I question sometimes whether or not she is truly invested in the progress of black men specifically. Like that, it's oh God, like I don't know how you
black men make up how much of the population? You want her to be so. It's 300 million Americans. So
is it 300 million?
Yeah, over 300 million.
312. But so how much of those people are black? So when you're asking her to put all her bets down, is she gonna lose in the game, or is she gonna make a little progress in the game?
She's not gonna get the black man vote, and now I'm okay with that. Outside of me being a black man,
because the weed thing is worth her thing.
Yeah.
What I'm so
but that's I would say Bill de Blasio.
Which is why, I'm saying that I get with her role and her responsibilities. There are certain choices and certain decisions where she is standing between a rock and a hard place.
Right.
So I, have to make special, is it allegiance or alliance? Accommodations for.
Sure. I like you, big words. You're like, I don't know what word go right there.
For her in that realm. So yeah.
Right. And so I understand that as an HR professional because I've had to fire black people before. I've had to fire gay people when I knew that I wanted this black person or I wanted this gay person to be in this job.
Right.
To let somebody into the door, but they got in the job and they start fucking shit up.
Right.
And so my head is on the chopping block if I don't fire your stupid ass for coming in to work late 5 days in a row.
Yeah.
So I got to fire your ass.
Right.
But it looks bad on my resume because I'm out here firing black people or I'm out here firing gay people. But that's the same thing that she did. She had to lock people up because that was a part of the job of being a law enforcement official.
Right.
So,
and we also have to look at the years in which she was making certain decisions, especially as it's related to what we consider misdemeanor drugs and drug offenses.
Yeah,
we have to look at the years when these decisions were made.
Cory Booker was saying that.
Versus 2019.
Cory Booker was like, I'm out here in Philly trying to fucking fix the shit. Right. Goddamn Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Well, that is our icebreaker this week. The ice has definitely been broken.
What about Julian Castro? He's a Formidable. Is that the way you pronounce that? Candidate?
He could be Secretary of HUD again. Just give him his old job. Our word of the day, WERD, is players. PLAYERS, players. Players are people who generally do not mix real life with their BDSM play. They see it as once in a while treat.
Trade.
Or as something that should be kept private from the world. Players, while they may be active online, tend to see BDSM as a lifestyle to be a bit too much. So that is people that want to actually do BDSM stuff just a little bit on the side. I don't tell everybody about it.
I do house rules in the Uno game.
I do scat once a month. Those people are called players, and that is our word of the day. Make sure that you guys...
You just taught me something.
I try to.
Trade.
Every week.
Trade. They use different jargon terms, but you've been exposed
but
to
basically,
the
that's what it boils down to?
Players.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for supporting this ghetto-ass podcast. Again, it comes from the pockets of Ronald Matters and myself, and without our audience and without our donors, we could not do this podcast that we bring to you every week, because we bring it to you every week for 2.5 years. We appreciate you guys' support so much. If you would love to contribute to this podcast, get over to our Patreon, which is going to be a link in the description right now for exclusive content.
And we got a new link.
Yeah. It's not Gold Link, but it's a new link. Where we talked about Kim Kardashian's fuckery and YouTube videos of all of the hosts on the show today. So you can get over to our Patreon right now and subscribe for at least $1 a month, up to $25 a month. If you don't got
a month.
If you don't got no money, make sure that you subscribe at least and share this podcast with your communities. We would greatly appreciate it.
Also, go to hereforitlive.com. We will be in New York City on August 24th. I am celebrating the first day of Virgo. Yay! All the greats are Virgos. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jackson, Beyonce. The list goes on. So, make sure you guys go to hereforitlive.com or go to eventbrite.com and search for Here For It Podcast and get tickets to our pop-up in New York City at Boxer's Hill Kitchen. Invited guests includes Him Podcast, Inner Hope Uprising, Brown Boys NYC,
a special guest,
Eat Pray Thought, and people that are in talks but just we don't want to tell all y'all. Just
we'll see.
Y'all will
just
see.
Show up.
We know y'all will see.
We got merch that we're giving away and free drinks, and I might eat somebody's ass.
That's gross. Hereforishop.com as well. That's it.
Our affirmation this week is: after a week of depressing news and coming out of Mercury retrograde, find time to invest in
I need a last call right now.
Find time to invest in resetting your energy. Do something that makes you feel good, that won't have negative impacts on other areas of your health. Set up a meditation date with yourself where you set aside an hour to only meditate or journal with some incense and kombucha. Unless you're planning to die soon, this marathon of life that we're running is going to get tiring.
Absolutely.
Make time to slow down so you can sprint when you need to. The late great Toni Morrison wrote, "You want to fly, you got to give up the shit that weighs you down." So, take that, be empowered, find time to reset your energy, and be affirmed.
I like that.
Do you have anything to add to that?
No, I agree with it. I think, honestly, though, as adults, oftentimes, and I'm guilty of it as well, I think we all get so caught up in the routines of our daily lives that we make excuses for not treating ourselves and like, reading, resting, exercising, changing our eating habits. We as adults, we make a lot of excuses, and a lot of times it's true. If you don't start taking care of yourself, you don't have energy to take care of all the other people around you, and I think that's what comes with the territory of being an adult. We start taking care of our friends. Some of us have to take care of our parents. We take care of our partners. We take care of our biological and community adopted children, you know, and we're always on the go, always on the go. So yeah, you do. You have to have those moments. You really, whether you're sitting in the bathtub at night, you know what I mean, with your book, you do. That's a part of your mental health. Even taking days off work where you literally are not running errands, you're just in the house, maybe, you know, cleaning up your space. Because I'm one to believe that. I believe, like, if you live in a clean space, it helps to, like, keep your mind void of, like, clutter. You know what I mean? Like, I do feel like that's important. So, yeah, I agree with all of it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jen.
Last week we talked about unapologetic bigots.
Huh?
So I figured we talk about an apologetic bigot.
The ones that need to apologize.
That scared the hell out of me.
That's the effect.
That scared the hell out of me.
The apologetic bigot that I'm talking about is Slater, a.k.a. Mario Lopez.
Oh! The ghetto!
Oh, I have so much.
Yeah. Here
Come
we go.
on,
And that's where we're going there.
We
Hold
have
on.
a podcast.
Slater, my love, you are slaying me and not in a good way. If you have been living
that girl,
Candace Owens,
I'm not familiar with her show, though.
you shouldn't be.
no one is.
Nobody. And that's why he was there.
That's why she used it as a little clip to promote on her Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So she's
Gotcha.
like, oh, girl, I can grow my audience with this.
Okay.
She was like, I ain't got no audience.
And she still don't. So if you're unfamiliar with the story, Mario Lopez was doing an interview on Candace Owens' show for whatever reason because he ain't got nothing to promote and she definitely also has nothing to promote. And they got on the conversation of transgender children.
She got on it. She asked him.
Yeah,
she did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I said they. And Mario Lopez unleashed and unfurled his bigotry and ignorance.
I mean, I'm not one to judge other people's parenting, but then you just stab.
Wasn't Charlize Theron's daughter now? Well, I don't know if she
Now
referred
son?
Now son, yeah.
now son, or was it son to daughter?
I'm not sure.
I think it's son.
I think it's son to daughter.
Yeah.
Wasn't the child used as the
That's
example?
That's who they were originally talking about
Okay.
because they both
That's what I thought.
were talking about being parents in Hollywood.
Got you.
Where Mario Lopez ended up saying it's dangerous for parents to support their transgender kids and their transition because they're just kids and they don't know. And
Every day they want to be something new, a cowboy, a princess, a skater.
And those were a lot of the comments I saw. Like, I hate when the Shade Room posts these types of headlines because I already know how ignorant the comments are going to be. I mean, it's wild to me because, you know, anytime I've listened to a trans man or trans woman talk about their maturation process, many of them will tell you that they knew at playground age that they belonged or felt like they belonged in another body. And it's wild to me that we'll say things like a child, what do they say? A child's mouth tongue speaks the truth. Something like a child.
that sounds Christian. You know, I don't know.
Wow. I was like, I don't know what that is either.
That sounds very biblical.
I love a good country hymn or something.
It's something, but it's something associated
I know it's a
with the
drunk
fact
mind
that
speaks to something, but I don't know the one about
The truth.
but about children and truth. But I'm saying that to say that I know, just based on a lot of my own personal conversations with trans individuals, many of them will tell you they knew at playground age. So, you know, I don't understand sometimes how people, especially individuals who haven't lived
that experience.
the experience can possibly stand and state that young people don't know that they are same-sex attracted or that they, you know, feel that they're born or they identify as the opposite gender from birth. I have a tough time understanding how people.
I understand what it is. It's the ignorance of I feel like my child can't say this because I can't say this. And a lot of times these parents will look at their children and know it's something different, off, or special, but they can't come to terms with it themselves, and then they project that onto the children and be like, well, she's just a child. He's just a child. She don't know. He don't know. And you know the whole goddamn time because you're looking at them.
But also because I believe that universally people don't accept the fact that we are born
and exist
as being gay or being
or dual spirited or whatever the combination you happen to be born into.
They feel it's learned.
I feel a lot of heterosexual people cannot discern gender and sexuality. They've like a lot of those shade room comments continue to every time there's a little Boosie post talk about being gay in jail.
Little Boosie,
he's problematic.
Or if they're the whole when Caitlyn Jenner was transitioning thing, or like whenever the straight community is given space to show their true colors. Who was that a song by?
True colors.
So they always shine through. So
completely.
And I always tell people to watch the PBS documentary "Growing Up Trans," which is available on RhondaMatters.com. There are children who know when they're age 3, age 4. And then so they go to their parents, usually white, because those circumstances and the affordability. They don't want to do
and the accessibility to have the conversation, because in the black home you can't. You just be like, oh, shit, I guess I'm gonna repress that shit.
The shade room comments is showing itself. So it ends up being a lot of white parents in these documentaries, and when it's 20 years from now and there's no research on black trans children or black trans men or it's the same thing with the gay research. Back in the 70s and the 80s, we couldn't have the conversation about black gay men.
Right.
And so now that it's 2019 and we're looking for research and we're looking for statistics on how our community has evolved, there is no research because we continue to shun evolution. And the only thing that's consistent is change.
And that is the token term. It is. It's funny because when I think back, I know I was in the 3rd grade. I was 9 years old at the time. I was in elementary school on the playground, and I still even remember his name. And as a child...
Yes,
I remember his name as well.
If you're listening, Zim is talking about you.
Do you know sometimes, like, when you think back as a child, you remember that you would look at another boy and you didn't necessarily know it was wrong, but you also knew...
It wasn't wrong.
But you
didn't know what wrong was.
But you had no real concept necessarily that... you looking at this boy in your mind, you're thinking he's cute, not understanding that, but you're quote unquote supposed to be looking at the girl and thinking that she's cute. And even though, of course, at that age, I didn't physically ever verbalize it or act upon it, but I remember specifically the day, and that was the first moment in my life where I knew I think boys are cute, and I was able just to ignore it for a long time. But that's why when people try to argue the fact that we aren't born gay, I mean, whose father or whose mother in a household teaches them to be same gender loving?
Mine didn't, and I'm still justice for bottoms.
Yeah,
strict bottoms. And we are dying breed. But gender,
thank God.
Thank God. That way is a good
First lives matter. I'll give y'all that. But but still keeping gender identity separate from sexuality.
Well, true. Yeah, you're right.
I, as a boy, want to have sex with other boys. It's just me and what I feel when I wake up by myself. For me, I feel.
You go to sleep too.
Woo, Lord Jesus. If I don't have my hair in a bun, then as a woman, what am I doing? So just for me, with my gender expression, this is not the gender expression that I am looking to give the world. For me, mom, dad, as my protectors, as the people who's supposed to guide me through, just be here to guide me through it. Not literally tell me what I can and cannot be. Because y'all tell me I can be a doctor. Y'all tell me I can be a this and a that. Now y'all even telling the girls they can be strippers. So,
Meg.
So,
and that's fine.
I can be myself.
The hot girl summer continues.
I can be the truest version of myself for me. That's my gender identity. When they don't involve nobody else.
That's very true.
They don't involve nobody else.
Yeah.
If
Right.
I want a ponytail today, or if I want a low cut season with the deep waves,
I don't know if you're gonna get the waves though.
I don't get the waves no more. Okay. But gender identity and the black culture and colors of persons of color. LOL.
There you go.
I don't like using it because black is just totally
Everybody
different.
says black and brown now. Black and brown people.
Black
That's
is treated
what
differently than
everybody
brown
says, black
because
and brown
the
people.
Latino community still
We just talked about Ariana Grande.
gets a little
That's
shit
a different.
of
It's a whole different thing.
innocence.
I agree with
depending on where you are and if it's Trump or if it's Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mariah Carey who tweeted a picture with Hillary like. Shout out to President Hillary
President Clinton and ex-president.
Our former president.
Saw that as
I
well.
missed that.
Saw that as
It
well.
was hilarious because Mariah Carey was gonna do what she's gonna do.
You said
It's
something.
direct shade.
You said something that I thought was really important. You were talking about the research. You were discussing how a lot of white children
Are in these documentaries.
are in the
are in a lot
documentaries
of the
and
research.
featured. I think one
And
thing
in the
that
YouTube videos.
yeah, true.
And that's why now when I'm, as a black gay blogger, trying to find a lot of, how has HIV and AIDS progressed in the black community? Because
Right.
when I go to work, I have to go look at data. I have to have data-driven results, and I don't have any data on the black gay community.
And that's one of the things that Mario, I think, was also missing is the fact that when you do not support your trans identifying child, oftentimes what happens is that instead of them coming to you to direct them properly as far as treatment and
Counseling.
right, a lot of the clinical practices involved, that child then would take the alternative route. You know what I mean? Which is
Unsafe.
why part of the reason I feel that, even though now for trans women, or trans people, there are greater opportunities beyond the sex trade. But when a child feels that they have to leave their home in the confines or the comforts of their home in order to transition the way that they want to, they do end up turning towards routes that aren't necessarily ideal in order to feel whole, and that is a very scary thought. And I don't know if Mario was fully considering that, because we as human beings have a natural desire to exist in our true raw selves, and if we're not going to get that support from family, we are going to turn towards the alternative.
Yeah. And so, again, like I said, last week we talked about an unapologetic bigot, and this week we talked about an apologetic bigot because he turned around the next day and apologized and recognized how ignorant all of the shit that he said the day prior was, and vowed to learn more about trans issues.
Because Access Hollywood,
gave $5
within
to
1
an
hour,
LGBT.
had released their things
about to say.
as Access Hollywood, we
Don't
love
say
him, but we don't condone none of this. We don't have nothing to do with this. His views are separate from Access Hollywood. Eat Tonight or whatever the brand he works with, girl, I can't get this out fast enough.
Because it wasn't him apologizing authentically. It was
his-
my
it was just
job
his-
is on the line.
His job,
His PR
publicist,
girl. Oh, yeah.
His publicist had to call the E Hollywood publicist girl.
Absolutely.
It was
Absolutely. He
Get
still
off-
feels how he feels.
living in his ignorance.
He didn't evolve in one day. And so that brings me to your identity, Mr. Xem Van Adams.
My identity.
Yes.
Gender identity or his,
just identity.
Oh, what's going on?
I believe his pronouns are he, him, his.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, well, we didn't know. That's why we asked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Better to ask than to assume.
Unless something's
I would have
coming
told.
out. It can be breaking
I would
news.
have told you by now. I think I would have made that announcement.
Okay. It can be breaking news on here for a podcast. We like exclusives.
He, him, his.
Yes. So, like we talked about earlier, Xem Van Adams has been a YouTuber and blogger for over 10 years, predating both Ronald Matters and myself. So, we definitely appreciate the work that you've done for the community, being a voice for the community, ahead of both of us, allowing us to walk in some of the same pathways that you walked. Because oftentimes, when you're the first girl to do it, it's very, very hard. And then it's less hard for the second girl to do it behind you. So if the second girl is me or Ronald Matters, you made it just a little bit easier for us, even if it was still hard, because it was still fucking hard.
I appreciate that.
And so we appreciate people like you that were the first ones, some of the first ones to come to YouTube and be unapologetically black and unapologetically gay at the same time, because that's important, because we have other people that are but aren't
Absolutely.
at the same time.
Yeah.
So first tell the children listening why you're iconic and what you're doing next.
Iconic. That's big. Honestly, I think for me and for many of us during that time when we came out, this was around 2007, 2008, it was a time where social media was still like on the rise. You know what I mean? And YouTube gave us just a platform to express ourselves freely. And for many of us, because we've had a chance to meet and talk, I know that many of us share the same passion. It was simply to be a voice in the world. And I don't think many of us even understood then how many other lives would be touched by the stories we told, because they were raw, they were everyday type of, narratives and tales. And sometimes in life we don't realize that we're being used as a servant. I do believe that, that's part of our position on earth, is to be a servant, and to sort of open doors for others, but in such a way that is selfless. And I think that's probably why, when I think back now and comparing it to now, the reason why we were, or at least I know for me, I think the reason why I was so successful then is because it was coming from a place where I didn't expect anything in return. I didn't want anything in return. I just wanted to express myself. I wanted to be free. I was sharing with you how easy it was to just record something new every week, like you guys, every single week, because it's a fire burning in you. You know what I mean? Right now, your voices are being used. You've been chosen in this moment. You really have. You've been chosen in this moment to light a path for others coming along, and that's why it comes so fluidly. Once you start, at least I think for me, when I started trying to turn it into like a brand and, specifically doing things so that the platform would translate into something else, that's when I think the passion started to die out, because I was now doing it for selfish reasons. You know what I mean?
Instead of self.
That's right.
Or community.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really important. And so this is going to be a gotcha question. You were supposed to be here last week.
I could not believe you.
You got flued out. Hold on. So you got flued out.
Okay.
So did you meet your forever or just the right now?
Did I meet my forever?
Or just the right now?
Well, that was not actually a personal trip.
Okay.
It wasn't personal. But as we were sharing earlier, I can't even go into this. I can't.
I said it was gonna be a gotcha question.
I can't even.
All right. So, what is ball to you? I've known you to be a ball kid adjacent, ballroom aficionado. Some people would even say. You've been going since you were 24. What is it then? What was it then to you, and what is it now?
When I started attending balls, for me initially, I went very naive to what I was seeing, because this was before when I first started attending, I was going in downtown Baltimore to this spot called Buns, and there were two friends of mine, and it was Thursday nights, and I didn't initially know what I was seeing. I loved it though, because it was always late at night. You saw creativity within the community that you never got when you would just be at the clubs on Friday nights and Saturday nights. You saw this competition, and it was music, and it was lights, and it was costumes. But then it took me about 2 years to truly learn that a lot of the young people who I would see on the runway actually were individuals who, just like we were talking earlier, identified with themselves in ways that may not have been supported within their homes. And so they found a sense of family within the community and somehow attached themselves where these families identified as houses. Mm-hmm. So once I even realized, like, wow, so the individuals who I'm seeing are interconnected in such a way that explained the level of support I would hear, the chanting, when the individual would be on the floor competing, just hearing their name called, receiving the trophies. Once I learned that these individuals were being acknowledged and celebrated in ways that they weren't necessarily in their homes and in schools and in their churches, but they found it there, that was the intrigue for me. So as years went on and I began meeting people who I didn't know were ball connected, and then found out after, befriending them and,
finding out the trade walk sex siren.
Right, exactly.
Because they walk sex siren.
And it was to me then became a part of the community experience. A lot of people didn't understand for a long time, like, because my friends cross the spectrum. Like, I have friends who are, in government, who are attorneys, who are educators, and then I have friends on the total opposite spectrum.
They're players.
And a lot of people don't get it.
Players. They craft.
They do a lot. My friends are all just very different people, and I love them all for different reasons. But for the individuals who walk balls, one of the things that my relationship with them helped me to realize that a lot of the stereotypes that are associated with ballroom, whereas there are individuals who fit the stereotypes, there are still many who live their lives the same as you and I. They are professionals. Everybody, doesn't stem from a broken home. And as we're seeing now, a lot of what these individuals learned in ballroom, they're now able to translate into professional careers as designers and makeup artists and models and actresses. A lot of times people used to hear people say all the time, like, well, you can't put ballroom on your resume. And now you absolutely
you just gotta learn how to write it.
Absolutely. Right.
So in your video back in 2012, Act Like a Gay Man, Think Like a Queen. Is that right? No, Think Like a Gay Man, this Steve Harvey reference. Think like a gay man, act like a queen.
Yeah.
You talked about being defined by your femininity, or being a queen in the ballroom, and then still going back to being a man in the army or being a business professional. Would you say your view from 2012 still applies to 2019?
In what regards are you asking that question?
Because you said, like, a lot of people who walk the ballroom also could leave the ballroom where they're being feminine, and they're walking butch queen face, and then they're still expected to turn around and 100% strict top the girls.
Yeah.
But sometimes for your category and your experience, you can be another facet of yourself. Because even though I am still submissive outside of work. Now look, outside of work, I'm a boss. Well, at work, I'm a boss. I have to be a boss. I have to make decisions. I have to be very. When I clock out at work, where are we going for dinner? I don't know. I mean, Whatever you're feeling, trade. I'm acting like a queen. I'm still a gay man. I can make a decision if I know what I want for dinner. I know what we're doing, and I know what positions I would like tonight. I can be that.
It's special.
But that's the queen.
Well, ballroom is about fantasy as well. I mean, that it is a space where individuals go oftentimes to escape or to wrap themselves in this fanciful idea of success and fame and stardom. Like even when you watch
Realness.
Pose, a lot of the dialogue you hear, is pulled from the things that Octavia St. Laurent said in Paris is Burning, and what Pepper LaBeija said. Like ballroom was
The Pendavis girls.
Yeah, that it was their Hollywood and their that was their celebrity culture, and I do believe that it serves that similar purpose. But I do think that the same way years ago ballroom, they still start 2 a.m, 3 a.m. People go to be who they want to be for those 5 minutes that they're on a runway, and then they go back to their everyday lives.
Players. So that's exactly where the player is. Like we talked about with BDSM.
Yeah.
People that just want to be something for a little minute.
A moment.
And I'm going back to my real life, girl.
Absolutely.
I'm a top in real life. I'm not a bottom out here taking dick like this. What do you mean? I'm a top in real life.
I think that I definitely feel that in 2019 that ballroom serves that same purpose for some people. And on top of that, imagine the young boy or young lesbian girl who were teased and ostracized in middle school and high school, never celebrated for their organic character traits. When they walk balls, they're honored for it. They win trophies for it. And they win cash for it.
I won't say they're cash prize.
Thousands of dollars for it. You know what I mean? So it's the same way. But even though ballroom for a very long time remained underground and in our community, it has been looked down upon by many. I do believe that in 2019, people are seeing the validity in such a community. I mean, it's kind of scary though. And even though I don't belong to a house. For a long time, before Pose even came on air, I noticed that when I would watch a lot of the videos on Ballroom Throwback, that the audience would be filled with a lot of white camera crews, and you would see a lot of foreigners. Like, it wasn't a lot of us in the audience.
Very Madonna Vogue.
Very much. And you begin to feel like, just because of the history of this country, that a lot of
Kim Kardashian,
the talent,
Leach,
and a lot of the rooting of ballroom would be stolen and then sort of refurbished and then represented as something completely different.
Ariana Grande presents
than ballroom. Right.
Kim Kardashian presents
the
new matte line from the 90s, because you've never seen it. Just tune into our Patreon to get the commentary on that.
From the 90s. Man, it's been there for 30 years then.
And we will move right into our Pose review from that, because it is absolutely relevant to the same topic. Pose this past week was an excellent episode again. I don't think this week was a filler episode. I think they had at least one.
I don't think it was a filler either.
No, this wasn't.
Corny to me. I text you afterwards. I was like, it was corny.
Pray Tell and Blanca were right about being the elders in the community. That I think that we need that example now.
Oh, they want to put the condom on the house. Okay.
Well, okay. That was just a stunt, but they were pulling these younger kids out of depression and drugs and drinking and making them do something useful with their time and with their day in activism, instead of letting them stay in depression and drugs and drinking and shit like that. So
let me tell you this though, because a lot of people don't realize this, that the wrapping the house in the condom was a real act that was performed. It was. So a lot of what Pose does, it's funny because a lot of what we see on the show is an extension of real life events. Like that really happened. Even though I can see how in comparison to Candy's episode 4, those first 4 episodes of the season were strong.
That body in that suitcase in the closet.
Very strong.
That was also from
5, 6, and 7 have been. I mean, I wouldn't say filler, but they pale in comparison to. And the reason for that is because the first 4 episodes of any show are the episodes that are sent.
You gotta hook you in.
Yeah, but they're also sent to the critics for pre-screenings.
And the producers to make sure that you can get the next season.
Right. So that's why a lot of the writing and the performances you'll find to be stronger. Even when you look back at that first season, I want to say the Mother of the Year or the Christmas episode.
The Mother of the Year was the finale.
Finale, yeah.
Okay, so maybe the Christmas was
the Christmas was towards the beginning. I think that was
that was like the 3rd or 4th episode.
Okay, it was early.
Yeah,
it was early.
Yeah. What did you think was filler about or corny really about this particular episode?
I mean, it was just so many. I can't even tell you what all the things were because I didn't even.
Angel and Poppy were so cute. How is that filler? Seeing them like as a full realized couple, and so it was also rumored that the writers were putting them in the same lens as Whitney and Bobby.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
I could get that, but that's also
it's a reach and a stretch, but
I can see. I see it.
What I think that they might be doing with
because
Angel.
look, she's the talented one.
I need a hit.
Not that Bobby.
Not that I've ever asked for somebody to die, which is your thing for season 2. Somebody's gotta die.
Somebody's gonna die.
Someone already has passed.
Well, Candy, but they're gonna a primary character's gonna die.
I mean, like one of the girls who are currently coming over for dinner every Sunday.
No, I know that as well because I mean, 3rd season. I do believe 3rd season is the end. Ryan Murphy already said that the show only extends to 1995, right before the new AIDS medications came into circulation. So I do believe that 3rd season will probably skip to like 94. I do believe 3rd season will be it, probably. Especially, yeah, because he said that the show ends in 95.
Oh.
I'm going to tell you what's really going to be unique about tonight, and this is why I do believe tonight's episode is so important, is because we're finally, I think, I don't know for a fact, but it would be very interesting to see Praytel and Ricky
I was getting there.
Because of the
their
fact
HIV.
that their HIV status and finding sort of
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Well,
that was last week. I mean,
I'm just
it's the show we watch as a show. It's the show that we watch as a show. It's here for a podcast. We watch that show.
Yeah, I think I do believe that seeing them paired together, both of them, infected with the virus and sort of finding comfort in each other is something very, because one of Ricky's, I think Ricky made the comment. Did he say "Who's Gonna Love Me Now"?
Yeah.
Last week. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? Yeah, I thought
and
that
broke
was
down in that emotional cry.
And Praytel's arms.
Oh yeah.
And he doesn't know that Praytel is positive yet because Praytel has only been openly positive to Blanca.
So he really, he
didn't know who he was talking to, and now this on tonight's episode, which we will be reviewing next week. Mm-hmm. I believe the same thing that you believe, that they're the ones that's getting together.
Because he was somewhere telling people that he had a man. Like, Praytel was somewhere telling the girls he had a man at home.
I have a question, and this kind of backtrack. So on the very first episode, when they are at the makeshift cemetery, right?
Oh, first episode
they were on the boat. Okay, they were on the boat.
And Praytel is talking about walking into an apartment and seeing the body of someone melted. Is he talking about the guy he dated in the last episode?
Talking about the guy that
is that who he's talking about?
He was talking about the guy.
Because I've wondered where that guy is. So that
that guy is dead now.
So that is who he was talking about.
Oh, he's fully gone. Oh. He's beautiful on Twitter though. He's gorgeous. I forgot what his real name is.
But here's the thing.
But I saw him on Twitter and I was like, oh damn, he's still fine.
So how come when they were at dinner and Praytel confided his status in him, he didn't share with Praytel?
That's how bad it was back then. You didn't tell anybody because you didn't want to be looked. And kind of the same way it is in 2019. You don't want to tell anybody because you don't want to be looked.
You don't want the stigma of being HIV positive,
especially with this new thing that nobody really knows what's going on.
Because I was wondering, I was just like,
the president won't even admit that this thing on TV.
And then I realized that.
So this is 2 lovers that Praytel has had that have died from HIV complications.
Yeah.
One of them died in the hospital,
Right.
and he was there with him, and then the other one he found dead in an apartment.
In his apartment.
Right.
And that's the guy we met on the finale.
And that's the guy that we
of
met
season
last
1.
season.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
When Angel asked him to show up as her date, I got all the feels and the
Who is
butterflies.
Angel? Angel and
Poppy.
Rick,
Poppy.
whatever. Okay.
Angel is the model.
Yeah.
I had to switch from
Actually, his name
I
is
was deep into the pray tell conversation.
his name is Esteban. We finally got a real name for Poppy. His name is Esteban.
Yeah, you're not moved either. Yeah, that's how I feel.
I was completely,
That's
I was
exactly-
completely, I was completely here for them doing Coke and VIP.
Well, I'm gonna tell you
Shout out to the Times.
that truly bothered me
Shout out to the
completely.
Times.
I think they're trying to do an ode to the model Gia. Have you ever seen that story?
Okay, no.
Have you ever seen the
more
supermodel story Gia?
than
Gia Gunn? Not Gia
No,
Gunn.
sweetie. Not RuPaul's Drag Race.
I was like, Gia Gunn probably does Coke.
There
Yeah, I
was
can
this
see it.
beautiful supermodel. Her name was Gia, and there's a movie out about her life. Gorgeous, and she became a drug addict, and she contracted HIV/AIDS from sharing needles. And
She a trans woman?
no, so I don't know what.
But they probably had intercepted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
because it
clarifying.
was relevant. It was
relevant for the
relevant.
time. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where they're going with this. I do not want to see Angel turned into a coke addict. I'm
Because
hoping
even when they were back
that
at the
this
house
was an isolated
and Homeboy
incident.
walked in.
Right. Damon. Who I wish they would do more with. I feel like he's a prop.
Oh, I think he's gonna get more to do
I feel like
tonight
he's such a
because
prop.
Yeah, he's definitely getting more tonight.
Oh.
because he's got to get tested because Ricky fucked him and Ricky is positive, and so he doesn't
He's
know
gotta
whether
come
he's
back home and
positive or
tell
not.
Ricky.
Yeah, so he's gonna get a lot of emotional
Damon
shit to
and
do
Ricky gotta
because
figure it out.
not only did I just now warm back up to this nigga that I threw away 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
he did. But now I gotta go and get tested again because
My receptive partner over here. Woo.
And
because you might have brought HIV into my anal cavity.
and that was one of Damon's worst fears as well.
It was.
It was one of his
That's why they
worst
broke up. He was like, I
fears.
can't.
Yeah.
This fear.
But at the same time, I mean, I hope that what you're saying
He
is
used
true.
to having sex for money in the park because they both met because they were both homeless. That's how they met.
On the piers.
No, Damon and Ricky. No, Ricky met Damon at a ball. It was right after Blanca had won. He was sitting on the steps getting ready to leave, and Ricky came walking into the ball. They met on the steps. Their date happened, right?
No, I feel like they met at the piers first, and then that's when they
And
really got
then-
together. After when he took, because Damon took Ricky to the ball, and it was like a whole new world when he took him to the ball.
But
A whole
that was
new world.
y'all don't remember Ricky walking into the ball
He was gagged because he had never been there.
and Blanca was like, "Who was that?" And he was like, "Oh, this guy." And then they went on that date. That was the most beautiful moment when they were in that abandoned warehouse and they
I like that
danced in
moment
that
too.
circle. And then Ricky
See, I
pinned
don't-
Damon up against the wall.
Yes.
That to me was the most magical scene
And they
that
gonna
they
tell
have
me you
had.
gave me HIV.
But see,
I don't need.
Not that HIV is a crime in 2019, but at that time,
Yeah.
it was
Criminal.
deemed dangerous.
Yes.
And I know that we get in trouble for the way we talk about HIV on this podcast, but that's the way we received it from looking.
Well,
at
no,
it
that's
on
what was
the TV.
on the books and were laws.
I know that
back
the
then
girls,
as well.
I know the girls love to judge the way we discuss HIV on here for a podcast. But girl, that's what I sing.
Do cocaine only in moderation. Moving on. The
I
bottom.
hated that. I hated them doing
Well,
that to
it's realistic when you get put in those situations and you've been poor your whole life. You finally get an opportunity
And some nigga offer me
and
free drugs.
free drugs, and
Fuck
then it
yeah.
might be medication grade drugs.
But do you believe?
I'm putting my nose to the table.
I'm doing at
you-
least half.
Do you believe that Angel really believed that, or was she trying to convince her?
She was tricking Poppy. No shade.
That she had status.
Yeah.
Because she kept
She wanted
coming
him
on
to go-
tell him about the things. And so, like, yeah, come to the photo shoot with me. And then after this, we're going to go to the club, and you're going to get in, and you're going to be VIP because I'm VIP. Then I want to see somebody from work that you saw me at the photo shoot with. So now you'll believe that my status, and then that way, you will continue to believe in me. Then I can keep coming home and telling you all these great stories because it will all make sense to you because you've seen it before. And it's all a scam.
I hate that we.
Coke is realistic. The girls are doing coke.
No, listen. I've been put in situations.
They still doing that white girl. For some reason, it's always a white girl.
I'm very clear.
They done moved on to a new
I'm
one.
just hoping it was just one episode, very isolated. Let's move on from this. I don't want to see Angel strung out. Like, I don't. Even though that is a storyline they have not tackled yet, is trans women and their drug usage.
You have really beautiful eyes.
Oh, I thank you.
And I'm sitting here across from you. And looking into your eyes.
You've been sipping cocktails.
Oh, my God. Are you single?
The bottom shaming dialogue.
Here we go. I'm back to my natural self. Back to my natural self.
Very...
I think it was put on a little thick. But it was necessary.
I was getting ready to say that I felt like it was
no. I
minimal.
think it was no. They definitely.
It was like a one. It was Ricky made a very general statement, and then pray tell, well, we're not going to do that.
Right. That's why.
But there was no follow through. Like Ricky didn't say anything. Like the normal reaction is to be like, what are you talking about? All I said was But
that's how you know you got to.
But everything Pray Tell says comes across preachy because of his performance. So
that's why I felt like it was laid on thick. Like,
it's his performance.
Like it was just somebody in the writing room. Like, make sure we include bottom shaming somewhere in the season.
So as a woman, y'all ruin posts for me every Wednesday when I wake up, and I done did the podcast on Tuesday.
Don't log it on.
And so I saw the tweet when I woke up on Wednesday morning. The top tweet on my timeline was from, what's his character name?
Pray Tell or Ricky.
Ricky's character. The top tweet on my timeline that had been retweeted a bajillion times was, shout out to the bottoms all the bottoms out there, y'all make the world go round, or something he had said. And I was like, I wonder what the fuck that happened on Pose last night. Yeah.
And it was,
and then so when I got to watch it, I was like, that's why he had did that tweet, because he knew he had to medicate that fucking wound. He had to put some goddamn A&D ointment, something on there.
He called the dude a big bottom.
And so I wasn't, given that I had already received my medication as a pre-warning before I saw the episode, I was triggered, but then I was like, I would like to be mad about this. And then I was like, oh shit, but he had already tweeted and apologized. So I couldn't be mad. But it was definitely bottom shaming.
Oh yeah.
Had an occurrence had happened. So write down one incident on the log.
But you know something, I also think is because, like, some in our community.
Oh,
now remember the guy? Do you know who we're talking about? Who
Jesus Christ? He died for
his ex-boyfriend.
Or something.
The dancer.
That he went on tour with.
Yeah.
I'm getting to that point because
I have something to say about it.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought it was true, and it's still true in 2019 where doctors. 5 seconds. Where doctors are uneducated or callous about situations, because when Ricky went to go get tested, the doctor was very much like, well, yeah, of course you got HIV. You didn't know you had HIV because you've had all these sexual...
Oh, that lady.
Yeah, you've had all of this sex. You've admitted all this sex on this form. Of course you got HIV. Like, what the fuck did you think? Instead of actually talking to someone that has now been diagnosed with HIV correctly and connecting them to care in other ways, and she just basically put him down and like, girl, of course you got HIV, girl. You fucked 20 girls.
That was the tone.
Yeah, and that's what she gave. That's what she gave, and I think that was slut shaming that she definitely did. That still happens in doctors' offices today, because if you go in and adequately report how much sex you really do have to an infectious disease doctor or an infectious disease nurse, then the same stuff will still come around. Like, well, girl, I got to test you for everything.
With a pack of condoms.
I'm just gonna bring the antibiotics in here.
And you know, it's funny because sometimes I have to remember. Because you know what really put me in a moment is when she read his age and said, well, his birth date, whatever, 1967. Yeah. Because I had to remember, like...
This was 1990.
Right. Because nowadays, I do believe that, doctors, most medical professionals go through trainings to be a little bit, even in my field we do, they call it... cultural competency and
now we do.
Yeah, now,
I'll tell them what you did, because that was a part of the questions, but we had to move on. What do you do now?
What? So now I am a family service coordinator or family service counselor for one of the leading Black-owned mental health agencies in Maryland.
Work.
So my job is basically, I go into the homes and schools of my clients and help to translate everything they're doing in therapy and learning in therapy. I help them translate that into everyday practices, routines, strategies to help meet their behavioral goals, emotional goals, academic goals.
Tim need to quit acting up.
I mean, yeah.
Great. So that was baseline context for what he was saying before. I wanted everyone to know that it just wasn't coming from a bitch on the internet. He actually does those things.
Yeah. So so you're right.
The cultural
during that time, during that period of time, I don't believe that those types of trainings and resources were made available. So doctors were very much that was the attitude. Like, what's the big surprise? I mean, basically, you're Black, you're a faggot, you sleep around. You
definitely got the AIDS.
Yeah.
That's how they approached it, and that's how they felt.
And I felt like his response was just.
It was real.
Very.
It was real.
And he wanted to clean up before he walked back out there to pray tell, but child,
them tears couldn't stop.
Child.
Yeah.
Them tears couldn't stop.
Yeah.
I think that Angel showing up high or hungover, I don't know which one it was.
A combination of both.
I was maybe a little bit of both. It just got some dick because Esteban been licking that thing.
I hated that scene.
I like seeing his ass. He got a cute little ass.
He wasn't doing anything. He was just laying there. They didn't even
move this. Move. Gyrate the proper way.
Right, they were just laying there.
It's FX.
He was scooting on it. I was like, y'all hate when I scoot on it, but you gonna scoot on me. We ain't doing no scooting over here.
It was horrible. I could have done with it.
I thought you gonna say you usually do that. I was gonna say I'm praying for you.
Scoop.
Scoot in the pussy. What are you doing?
Skeet in the pussy. Wow.
I could have done without the entire scene.
Angel showing up high or hungover from the night before is the line that we all should know not to cross as professionals.
Well, I'm gonna take another shot.
See? And so, as people that, if you do drugs or you drink a lot or you smoke a lot,
substance abuse.
You should, whatever the substance is, you should realize what line you have to get to so you can still get up and get to work in the morning. Angel showed up to a photo shoot that was going to define her career 2 hours late. High and or hungover. And as a person of color and as a transgender woman who does not get these opportunities, especially back then, didn't get those opportunities, she fucked up. She fucked up for herself, and she fucked up for girls coming behind her, because now, the next Black trans girl, she's just gonna come in here high on coke and she can't do the photo shoot. Or it's gonna take us longer to do her photo shoot because she's 2 hours late, and I gotta do her makeup real good because she's fucked up looking.
Homegirl said, "You see all this?
It's for you.
It's for you.
All these people are here for you. All these wardrobe, this makeup, this photographer." And it ended up being the photographer that had
that got her
snatched her wig.
So what they're getting ready to do?
Oh Lord.
Do you know the Tracy Africa story? Are y'all familiar with the Tracy Africa story? Okay, so Tracy Africa is another ballroom figure who, she was the first trans woman to ever appear on a Clairol box, hair dye.
Oh,
she walked Femme Queen face. She's still alive today. She modeled for it was either Essence magazine or Ebony magazine.
Probably Ebony.
And she was on a Christmas shoot, and one of the gay, it was either makeup artist or hairstylist or photographers, went to the editor at large of the magazine and outed Tracy and said she's a trans woman. And while she was on set, the editor at large and some other,
of course, they counsel each other.
Yeah, came out, basically told her she had to leave set. And Tracy tells this story now. So they're combining Octavia St. Laurent story with Tracy Africa. So what's getting ready to happen to Angel is either the photographer is going to out her, or he's going to have one of his minions out her. and that will be their ode to Tracy. Just
Ooh,
like the
conspiracy
suitcase
theory.
was
Oh.
Dorian Corey, Venus Extravaganza was Candy, but it should have been Lulu.
It should have been Lulu.
That's a whole nother. Oh man, I
don't know about all that.
Lord.
But anyway, Pose this last week was a great episode. We're looking forward to tonight's episode, which again we will be reviewing next week.
Because y'all love y'all podcasts early in the morning.
First thing.
Indeed. Next story is something that got deleted. Well, they took that one on down. There's that. It was about the Ohio state representative who blamed the mass shootings this past weekend.
I'm going on break.
That's fine. This past weekend, over 30 people were killed in different mass shootings across the country. And the story was posted to Cincinnati.com, where their Ohio state representative had blamed the shootings on drag queens, gay advocates, and open borders. So I thought that it was important for us to note that and talk about that because it's extremely important, extremely relevant going on today, that a white woman would feel the need to scapegoat gay people, trans people in something that had nothing to do with us at all and everything to do with white nationalism and white domestic terrorism.
I saw that. I saw that tweet. I read it because it was in a headline. Do you have it in front of you?
They deleted it. They took it down because her lawyer got a hold to it and said, "Hey, they pulled it in my wig too hard. Take it out." But I'm sure if you Google it, you can find it somewhere else. The original story that I had, like I said, was on Cincinnati.com. But if you Google Ohio shooting, state representative blames the shootings on drag queens, blah, blah, I'm sure you'll find it somewhere else. The original story has been taken down because, like I said, her lawyer probably got a hold to it and said, they're tugging at my wig too hard. The importance of the story is to understand what is really going on in the country. We are protecting white men overwhelmingly larger than we would protect anybody else in this country because I ain't seen no picture of the shooter of any of these 3 mass shootings this weekend. We ain't got no names. We ain't got no pictures. They ain't gave us no what his name on Jacked or his name on Twitter is. They ain't said a motherfucking thing because they are white men and they don't want the narrative of white men doing these mass shootings to be out. And so they will sprinkle it in the news sometime, in the next couple of days.
Well, what they're doing,
do a little yang.
Yeah, they're blaming it on mental health.
Yeah.
And video games.
And we'll turn around though. It's interesting because whenever quote unquote black on black crime is a headline story, if you notice, mental health is never brought up as a cause or as a trigger. We always handle these mass shootings and these white male mass shooters with very soft gloves constantly, and it does a disservice to the community because not everyone who suffers from mental health has the desire, the urge to take the lives of other people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like
studies show that.
Yeah. So I most certainly can accept that there's definitely some mental instability in the makeup of anyone who can commit such heinous crime. But at the same token, it's frustrating that whenever these narratives are shared, that mental health is always the go-to, that the reporters and press are always talking about, the rough childhood that Billy had, and the trauma in Danny's young life, and it's never the same soft glove when we're discussing
Eric Garner, because as soon as Eric Garner
I
happened,
can't breathe.
his whole
I can't
goddamn
breathe.
rap sheet
I
was
can't
released
breathe.
the next day.
Absolutely.
I can't breathe.
Even when it comes to, even with, you know, I really wish I had the, I want to know specifically how, because not only did they talk about, did they blame drag queens, but they said something else about fatherless, something about fathers.
That's what she said.
Fathers not being
Broken homes.
families.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what she blamed.
The
as
broken
well.
homes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and more often than not, these white domestic terrorists did not come from broken homes.
Yeah.
So
Right.
whatever the fuck we doing in our community did not affect his white ass, and did not tell his white ass to pick up no semi-automatic weapon and go shoot up dozens of people.
It was a
so
hate-
stop the bullshit.
It was definitely beyond a doubt. Well, even the El Paso shooting, that was Saturday, right?
He drove
Yeah.
10 hours.
He did.
From Dallas to El Paso.
Right.
If you
Right.
can't go to
Sweetie.
Bill-
So
no
he's not
change.
shooting up,
All that
not
gas
shoot-
money.
not
Anyway,
shooting up
spend
his
it on-
own, but specifically came into a minority community.
Mm-hmm.
It was a hate crime.
if you can't go to the Bella Noche / Walmart, then where could you
Where
go?
could you go? Where can you go?
So, that, my dears, is the end of some of our tepid topics. What do you have going on in social studies?
Well, first of all, hashtag arrest Ed Book.
Oh, yeah.
There have not been any new developments in the arrest of Ed Book from a few weeks ago when
Has there been
they said
another
he's
killing?
going to be charged.
Another death?
Only 2.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whoa, no. Whoa. The development is it has been 1 year since the first person that he killed, Jamel Moore.
It's been 1 year.
It's been 1 year since he's killed Jamel Moore.
my
He
God.
killed Timothy Dean at the top of the year of January 2019. So it has been 1 year. So rest in power and rest in peace to Jamel Moore. So this person has been out here on the streets after killing two black men. I won't say gay because we don't know everyone's
Sexuality
full
is a
sex-
thing.
Yeah. But he's still out on city streets,
Yeah,
able to
August
kill
1st,
other people.
2018. It has been 1 full year.
1 full year.
That was the first death.
Yes, Jamel Moore.
Okay.
1 full year since he committed that heinous crime and received no punishment, no repercussions from it at all, and is still able to freely kill someone else on city streets right now. He definitely needs to be arrested and get him the fuck out of here.
I definitely the fact that the circumstances surrounding both deaths are so similar to me is
They're identical. They're not just similar.
well, yeah, it's
They're
like
identical.
I
Tied
don't.
to the bed, give him meth, left for dead, still tied to the bed when the police arrive, but somehow Ed Book don't know what had happened.
Yeah, he is a
Predator.
for sure.
Predator. And not just and not a good predator. Not a good predator.
What made you? What made you just bring that up?
We do it every week. Hashtag arrest that book every week. Since
You're keeping the headline alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think
Because no
it's
one else will.
important.
No one
is.
else is talking about it.
It's very important
We've
because
been
it
doing
doesn't circulate.
No. We've
doesn't
been doing
circulate.
hashtag arrest that book since November.
Definitely since Timothy Dean happened, because the second one, the first one was like, this weird. The second was like, okay, girl, it's about to be a trend now.
Yeah.
In 3 girls, it's gonna be Destiny's Child.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
y'all doing?
Yeah.
Indeed.
I like that, you guys.
So,
Keeping
the
headline
tweet
alive.
I want to read you guys for social studies. I don't have a lot of data-driven things or stuff this week. I just wanted to have a conversation.
Okay.
It says, y'all. Oh, I did the tongue pop. The tongue pop. was-
It said that at the beginning of the tweet. The beginning of the
Sorry.
tweet was
Y'all seen those videos of that guy jacking off in public? IKEA, the airplane, and the gas station. That is our line. There is a time and place for that. I call police on him. Y'all just turn him out because he good looking.
I haven't seen the video. I haven't.
So there's a guy named Duriel Hines,
Okay.
who was masturbating on the stair climber at the gym.
Wow.
In another video, he was seen. I think he was dipping the dildo in the lubricant
Wow.
down to the locker room at the gym. He was sitting on the dildo in the locker with other men walking around in the locker room.
now it's a beautiful sight. Cause he's
Wait.
He's talented.
This is happening. This is out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also cited walking along the expressway, encouraging his followers to come if they see him to come pick him up.
This is a black man?
Mm-hmm.
Down to the Texas.
How have I not seen this?
OnlyFans. You probably not behind the paywall. It's the OnlyFans. So,
okay. I saw the video of the black man walking up the street and he nuts on or attempts to on the woman sitting on
no,
her,
he did nut on the woman.
Is this the same guy?
No.
That's
okay.
a different guy.
Oh, okay.
This was fine.
Gotcha.
Like,
that
is
is
outwardly appearing fine, but on the inside, he fucked up more than likely.
So that's what inspires this week's social studies because
Got it.
when I was laying in my bed and I was watching the story of this man just walked up and nutted on this woman for views.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm just like, this public indecency, you can go to jail for that and be forced to register as a sex offender.
You will go to jail for it if you're in the right place.
So I have mixed opinions on this issue because let me hear your point of view.
No.
Let me hear your point of view first.
Well, no, it's not mixed for me. I think there's a difference between being
Because maybe this is
an
weird.
exhibitionist.
It'll be clear for me.
Yeah, no. And so there's a difference between being an exhibitionist, because I feel like I am somewhat of an exhibitionist and a nudist, but I do it responsibly. I'm not going to go nut on somebody for clicks or views.
Right.
I'm going to go express myself sexually and feel free in places where there aren't children, where some of the similar people with similar thoughts and minds do something similar. I love going to nude beaches where other people like being nude. I will go to a sequestered part of the beach if I'm going to be semi-nude and take a picture for the gram real quick and then put my clothes back on. But I'm not doing this for public attention. And that's the difference between what I do and what other exhibitionists do than what he does. He definitely puts other people in the trajectory of being offended, seeing his sexual acts, being a part of his sexual acts, whether they are willing or unwilling participants. Yeah. And so that's a difference between being an exhibitionist and being an offender.
That's great. I'm glad that you put it that way, because that definitely clears.
Like, shit, bitch, you said everything I was.
Because that clears up. That is exactly how I feel. Because for me, when I first started going to the gym, it was September or October of 2012. And in Baltimore, I joined Merit Athletic Club in Owings Mills. Owings Mills is like a county in Baltimore.
I like Owings Mills.
You familiar? Okay, so that's where I live.
Oh, it sounds like money.
It do.
Anything with a Mills on it. Ooh.
So that's where I live.
Around
However,
Mills.
when I would leave work, I would go to the downtown location, which I didn't know, but learned very quickly, is the gay gym. The gay gym.
Yeah, because it's the big one. It's the cute one. That's where the gays, of course.
And
the
so
there
were things that I would see.
Short shorts.
In the locker room.
In the locker room and in the sauna and the shower.
That I honestly did not have any issues with. That even though were considered or could be considered a crime, because it seemed that during certain parts of the day, everybody was participating. I didn't see the harm in it. However, just like in going to a nude beach, everybody pretty much is understood
everybody
why we're
agrees
here.
to it.
And even though I will say not every gay who goes into a locker room, of course, participates in this type of activity or goes to the gym for these reasons, but I'm with you. If it's a place and time where we're all adults, we all know why we're here, we all are sharing in this similar experience, and it's just kind of an accepted thing, then that's where I deem it to be appropriate. But I do not understand the mind of an individual. I don't. And I do believe that there is, once again, some mental illness at play here. For someone to literally be right. I mean...
he was riding a full dildo in the view of other people.
I don't and no one else, and it's like everybody else is just sort of going along with the normal routine.
Yeah, nobody was like,
of a
hey,
locker
you're
room
like,
or a gym or
they were walking past.
It's very kind of
in another
mind-blowing to
video,
me.
he was sitting on the passenger side. He had a window seat in the airplane, and someone was with him, and he skeeted all over the things in the passenger seat. And he was holding the camera to where, like, oh, I got a black friend sitting next to me, but there's also, like, other people sitting here on the plane. I'm sitting here skeeting all over the airplane.
To me...
So, when you get arrested, you also get a federal charge.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is on the airplane.
Because you're on a plane. Which I believe deservedly so. I don't know. I do understand people's desires, but I also know there's a time and there's a place. And in public spaces like that are not appropriate. They just simply are not appropriate.
But the getting caught, like when you go on my, it's like caught doing this, caught doing that. Yeah. It's just another category, just like the humiliation is, because you know, like the men with little dicks, they get humiliated for having a small penis, and you know, like the fat guy, the cute blonde does this to the fat guy. You know, like all those subcategories.
What's the difference between a genre of consent and a genre of I didn't consent to this?
But the non-consent is what makes it a genre.
No,
because people aren't consenting to it. Like,
okay, well that delves into what we've talked about for a year and a half is stealthing. Mm-hmm. So that is a lane where someone can consent to being stealthed, but oftentimes, that's the thing.
Okay.
But oftentimes that's not what's going on. It's people that are willingly taking the condom off during sex and not allowing the receptive partner to make the decision whether they want to have raw dick or not.
Is it consensual?
Is what?
They're having condom sex and then the top decides to take the condom off and keep going. Is that consensual?
No.
Okay.
Nobody thinks that.
Do you think so?
Oh, I don't.
But there's also a genre where that's popular, and the bottom already knows that that's what we're recording, and she's okay with excuse me.
Oh, do we know that that's what we're doing?
No,
I know that that's what we're doing.
Well, I know a couple of the girls that have done that.
A couple of the girls. Okay,
I'm not saying
so they're perpetuating the stereotype.
Yes,
for views.
Yes,
and likes. Like
and they're
girl,
okay.
Like this girl who was doing it for his OnlyFans.
Yes.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is it's not okay because consent is not there. But there are instances where consent is there, like we were talking about with stealthing. Mm-hmm. So sometimes some of the Twitter freaks are okay with raw sex, but they know that this stealthing part of the video is going to get us more clicks. Right. So sure, just pretend you got on a condom and then take it off, and then everybody's going to be excited to watch the video, even though I know I'm getting raw dick and nut in my butt at the end.
Unbelievable.
Xem, colorful commentary.
You know, I don't know. Like, are you asking me? What are you asking me?
We're discussing public indecency and the risk associated with it. What are your thoughts on it? There's even a couple who was saying.
So would you have sex outdoors?
There was even a couple who was saying having sex under the freeway.
At our age has not.
Oh,
so that's also.
Do you accept the risk that was associated with it?
And so that's also a part of why on this particular issue I was sort of, unsure of how to feel, because I know if I am engaged in an act with someone and this individual is a willing participant and we happen to get caught, and no one else is around, it's at night. But let's just say police are staking this area.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right? That's a real thing. They do that on purpose. Right.
So are we truly we're violating a written law, but there's no one around to witness. Do you see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So is it really indecent?
Right. If a tree falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it.
Is it really indecent?
Did she make a sound?
If it's only the two of us in this park, in this car, or outside, we just happen to get caught by an officer who let me not go there, but
the difference is intent. And so if you are like I have, that girl was me, have had sex outdoors, but the intent was just for us to have sex outdoors.
Yeah.
and nobody else be affected by it, nobody else see it, we just did some freaky shit
Right.
in the park. That is different. That intent is different than what this gentleman is doing, where he is fine with the intent of other people seeing him nut on the airline window and nut on the seats and ride a dildo at the gym. He's doing this for, his intent is, I don't care if they do it, I want to put this on Twitter.
Is his face out there?
Yeah. He's attractive.
He's a stripper.
I don't know if he's a stripper.
Oh, well, I met him in New Orleans when we were together.
He's really setting himself up.
So, in a different scenario, an 18-year-old was on the football team and they were taking their yearbook photo. He was on the second row. Mm-hmm. And so some teammates dared him to expose himself during the photo. Mm. So that photo was selected to be in the yearbook.
With a big old penis in the picture?
You've got to be kidding me.
No. Here you go. 19 years old. He has over 60 counts of indecent exposure and has been charged with a class 4 felony.
Wow.
At 18 years old.
Wow.
Over 60 counts of indecent exposure.
This is a different young man that we're talking about.
Yeah, this is a different story. This is
a white man.
This is not the girls jacking off at the gym.
I get it.
This is so now he's got to go around for the rest of his life with over 60 counts of indecent exposure and the felony because of a dare when he was 18 years old. What are the risks associated with all this indecent exposure?
I get what you're saying. But you know something else? We live in a time now where, like, really the stakes are high. Everybody truly wants their footage to go viral, their picture to go viral. People, I'm not going to sit here and dismiss the behavior and say that people aren't doing this with malicious intent, but it's for the shock value, the money that's involved for those who are paying their subscriptions, for the viral fame associated with it. People, this generation aren't thinking about consequences. They're thinking about...
Or the future.
Right.
19 years old with over 60 counts of indecent exposure and a class 4 felony?
Yeah. They're not
sign me up for McDonald's, I guess.
Ever. That this will be looked up.
McDonald's don't want you at that point.
Yeah. Because now your biological name is associated with it. So on every resume...
I just Googled football player indecent exposure, and that what came up. His picture.
Every resume
because I could not remember his name.
Yeah. That's going to be associated with your name and your identity. But the reason why they're not thinking about the future is because this society now teaches them and shows young people that you don't have to have a degree or a professional job or anything to be successful. All you need is a moment. Mm-hmm. All you need is a moment. And if you can get
Black China
millions of views and millions of followers, and all you need is that moment. So I'm not surprised that footage like that is out. I mean, I'm not shocked by it. It's still disgusting, but I don't think that they are considering the future. I really don't.
They are not.
We have to, because we are
have more to lose.
Older, and we are and we have homes, we have cars, we have accounts, we have
lovers,
partners, careers, family. Mm-hmm. So we have to consider those things. But
my hot girl summer is still extended. I don't know what y'all talking about.
So that is social studies this week. The risks associated with indecent exposure. Are y'all writing these things down? Think about it. Because when you go to jail, we don't want to see the video of you eating noodles off a dick. Did you see that video?
No, but I'm not excusing myself from that behavior though. At the same time,
because he also has OnlyFans in jail, and he uploaded a video of him eating noodles off of a man's penis.
Oh wait, is it the same one? Same guy?
No. Somebody else. Look, that's why it's social studies.
Okay.
Because there's an anthropology element in mind. Why the girls so
epigenetics?
It's on every level.
Epigenetics is following.
Even after you get in jail,
the circle of life.
Oh yeah.
The circle of life. This week in sexual health.
Woo, help us.
I figured that we would do an interactive session for the people that are a little bit older that don't know what sesh means. Interactive session.
Oh wow.
1 round, because old people can also only do 1 round.
First off, bitch, I can do 2 or 3. I'm not that motherfucking old. Anyway, with the host of tonight's episode, ranging from fully versed Butch Queen top to possibly a versatile top to an unapologetic bottom.
Strict.
Thank you for identifying.
Period.
Thank you for identifying yourself. It's supposed to be confidential. We can't tell you shit, can we? I figured that we would each give 1 tip on how to fleet/douche/do water sports.
Guess.
Correctly.
You first.
In case you get your coochie played in or you get your coochie eaten. You still need at least 1 tip. So that is this week's edition of Sexual Health.
Okay.
So 1 tip.
So mine would be to not eat anything saucy or thick or
Eat anything
too
thick.
colorful.
I saw something yellow.
2 to 3 hours. 2 to 3 hours.
Oh, you talking about that kind of
prior to activity. That is my tip.
Okay. I think my tip is recognize your limits. I think a lot of people, I won't say just bottoms, but bottoms versus and or tops that would like some penis on tonight, don't realize their limits before they have gotten to the dick. And so fleet for the dick that you have signed up for. So if you just signed up for 12 to 13 inches of dick because you're just really trying to test the limits on tonight, you need to make sure that you've allotted the time to fleet for said penis, because this is not a regular Monday night with my homeboy/boyfriend penis. This is a industrial.
I'm gonna have the letter to write home after this.
Homeboy/boyfriend? He plays both roles?
He might be. I'm just giving people the option. So
What?
I'll let you make it. I just want you to know.
This is colorful commentary. It's non-verbal colorful commentary, but it's present.
Had this been a video episode, y'all would have caught the team. Anyway, prepare accordingly. Make sure that you take the time to prepare accordingly for what you have signed up for, because it might be more than you typically can handle.
Yours should be really good.
My tip, no pause, is if the tip ain't coming out clear, then you ain't in the all clear. And that's it.
Okay.
I got it.
Literally, if it ain't clear, then girl, you ain't clear. If it ain't, what's going on? I need to go one more time.
That was an Ariana Grande song. One last time.
Shout out to my sisters.
That is this week's
Go with grace.
Sexual Health. It is now time for our Here For It's.
I thought we did So Far Souls first.
Oh, yeah, that.
Is that the song?
As I get yelled at all the time for not knowing the order.
Girl, we an hour and a half in.
Shout out to my homegirl. I got to call her by her birth name. Kitara Siobhan Wyatt. A.K.A. Kiki.
Kiki!
Kitara. That's a cute first name. Kitara Siobhan.
Ain't she from Mississippi? She's
nothing
Tennessee.
in this world. Okay, it don't say where she from. Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh, whenever.
How she end up in the South?
I don't know. How she end up with that accent?
She was in Atlanta at age 16 when Avant was recording his album, and somebody convinced her to go to the studio, and they recorded their first song. What was that first song called?
Nothing in This World. Oh, was there a song before Nothing in This World?
There was, because anyway, the song for my song is Nothing in This World, because My First Love was their first track together, and then she got a record deal off of that. My First Love, yeah.
Oh, I thought
she
that came after
when she was
Nothing.
16.
Okay.
And so when she got a record deal after that was a hit, the label was like, oh girl, she just did My First Love at age 16 and slayed, so we need to give her a record deal. And I feel her song, Nothing in This World, that they did together was better than the song they did with the Fun. So, we all over 30 over in this room.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really
Allegedly.
feel like... Yeah. So, God be the glory. Look, we made it. We survived. Whatever age we are.
I agree.
To this day. So, I really think that her song, Nothing in This World, is better than My First Love. And I've listened to them both on repeat this weekend to try to decide which one is better. And I think her song wins.
Work.
That's the song for my soul.
I hope she come out with something new.
I feel it.
So my song for my soul is the original ASMR before ASMR was ever even called ASMR. Baby, that's my song. And your nasty ass knew exactly what the fuck it was.
Oh, okay. Look back at me.
I can't even fucking do it right.
Oh, okay.
Hey, how you doing, little mama? Let me whisper in your ear. Tell you something that you might like to hear. You got a sexy ass body and your ass looks soft. Mind if I touch it and see if it's soft? No, I'm just playing. Let's just say I can. Rapey. And I'm known to be a real nasty man. And they say a closed mouth don't get fed, so I don't mind asking for head.
Okay.
You heard what I said? We need to make our way to the bed. And you can't start using your head.
Is this how he sounds in it?
Yeah, probably. You like to fuck? Have your open legs. Do it up, slapping ass because the sex get rough. Switch positions and ready to get down to business. So you can see what you've been missing.
Mm-hmm.
You might have some, but you ain't never had nothing like this. Just wait till you see my dick. Hey, bitch. Wait till you see my dick.
They used to play this in DC.
Wait till you see my dick.
On the Edge.
Shout out to the Yin Yang Twins.
First of all, this sounds like my Tinder messages right now. And I was like,
that was
boy,
definitely
this game from 97? What year that song come out?
2005.
Yep.
As a young adult woman.
I
was in the junior section down to the Macy's. In the missus.
That was before y'all came. Were y'all here for the Edge?
No.
I don't know what kind of issue you talking about.
It was a club here. Friday nights. That's where everybody. There was one spot on Friday nights everybody went to. It was the Edge. There wasn't all these little stupid pop-up clubs, and it was one spot. Daryl Wilson's the Edge.
Oh, well, Daryl Wilson's still kicking, but he ain't doing that.
What's the song for your song? I'll go say, what's the
Yin Yang Twins, Whisper Song for my soul.
So I'm going to change mine from what I was going to say.
Because we was... Whew.
So mine is It Ain't Over Till It's Over by the legendary rocker Lenny Kravitz.
I love Lenny Kravitz.
Oh, man. So when I'm driving, I usually am on shuffle. Over the weekend, a song came on. It takes me back to a place. I think when I think about my life, the only time I was truly depressed was I was 19. I discovered Lenny Kravitz and this album, the Mama Said album, at that time, and it really helped bring me up out of that funk.
Get up!
I used to play this song every day of my life. I was still living at home. Well, it was the summer between my freshman year and sophomore year in college. It Ain't Over Till It's Over. Those lyrics. Even he's talking about his broken relationship with Lisa Bonet, and he's talking about how they're gonna get back together, and it's about their love. But for me, I translated it to mean everything in my life at that time. I felt like a failure. I felt like at that time I really wasn't. I had just kissed a guy for the first time. I wasn't really out. I didn't have a car. All my friends, it seemed like everybody was just all in different directions. I was in a funk. And I translated the lyrics to mean life really isn't over. You're just going through a period right now. You're going through a time. So every time I hear that song, it takes me back to that period. And yes, I would consider it to be my favorite song for multiple reasons.
Give us a bar. It ain't over till it's over.
I don't have your voice.
You asked the question, then answered it.
Sure did. Woo! Combination plate.
I love.
This week, am I here for it? A father. A black one at that, Lord. His name is Wendell. Not the girl y'all like to call Wendell, but a real man named Wendell.
Wendell was born in the 60s, wasn't he? A nigga named Wendell.
Back when Ricky was born, apparently.
67.
Wendell Melton murdered his 14-year-old son Giovanni back in November 2017 down in Nevada after an argument about his son's sexuality. The mother says, according to reports from friends, the father had previously pulled a gun out on his son during another argument that they were having about his son's sexuality. So, back down to the November 2017, after he was accused and charged and fingerprinted, had to bend over and cough. So, the bond was set to $808,000 for Wendell back in November 2017. And apparently in March 2019, down to the Nevada courts, he got a bail reduction hearing. And the judge agreed that, like, wow, for murdering your own son, you should definitely not have to be paying $808,000. Let's reduce this to $200,000. And let's put you on house arrest for your child until your trial because, like, we're treating you harshly and you don't deserve this.
Wow.
And the mother was like, first and foremost, he just murdered his own son, so he would definitely murder someone else. He don't need to be at home looking at the bitches next door, down the street, around the corner, or nowhere. He needs to be in jail. His bail needs to be escalated from $808,000, and this needs to be escalated to a hate crime, not just murder.
Absolutely.
Because this ain't the first time he pulled a gun out on his own son over a disagreement about who he want to have sex with. Because the bill's still going to come in your name. You still have to pay him.
If you even having sex with anybody yet.
You're going to have to go get a job. Right. Because, girl, he probably have expensive habits. Because us gays don't really be having cheap habits.
Except you.
Except me. And so, I mean, the only thing that's different about his son is who he has sex with. And that did not constitute his own father, as we just got to talk about trans kids, deciding when they want to have their own gender expression for themselves. When I figure out what that is for me and who I would like to share that world with, my father is supposed to love me through that, support me through that. If they don't have the education to do it, there are public libraries. The way my taxes come out, my check, I know there are public libraries for the less fortunate and the less educated. They probably still can point you to the Britannica. It's not printed anymore. It's available online. And the way these iPhones set up, it don't matter if you got an iPhone 3GS or iPhone 10XR. Google, Bing, Yahoo, XG still exists.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that.
You less fortunate than uneducated. Okay.
Jeeves.
So there is no reason for you to be out here murdering your son at 14 years old.
Attempting to murder.
Down to the holiday season. He's not even going to be here for Thanksgiving or Christmas. Over being 14 years old and thinking, oh, I might like boys. Oh, it might appear as though I like... Because I was called a faggot before I knew I was a faggot. So maybe that was the case. But I'm absolutely not here for this bail reduction for this father who murdered his 14-year-old son and pointed a gun to his own child's body in any capacity. Definitely once, allegedly twice. What the fuck is going on in this world? First, we got the El Paso, we got the California, we got the Toledo, Ohio. I'm trying to make it a little light of the moment right now because it's really heavy. But the girls down to the Dayton, Ohio. What is going on in this world? We need some gun reform. I'm not here for it.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have lighter news to report. I'm also not here for the treatment of transgender women in the D.C. area. As we've been reporting over the last few months of deaths via homicide, there was also a transgender woman who was mugged, beaten, and robbed this past weekend. Her name is Alicia Love, and She is a manager at a local gay bar / club, the DC Eagle, who left her job at 3 a.m. in the morning and was pursued down Minnesota Avenue and beaten and robbed. And the gas station that she ran to while she was in the process of being beaten and robbed,
trying to escape,
did not let her in.
Oh, wow.
Because I guess they just were too afraid to let her in, or didn't like the way that she was presenting, or whatever the case was. But she thought that going to the nearest safe space with
alleged
lights,
safe space.
She thought that would be a safe space to get away from these attackers. She put in a police report she was attacked by 7 men. So one transgender woman at 3 a.m. in the morning being beaten.
Can she sue that gas station?
Maybe,
Wow.
if she gets good lawyer. But she's just got to focus on being alive.
Amen.
Because as we talked about with a couple other transgender women, this does not mean the end of things that happen to them. This is only really the beginning. And so she got to the gas station after she's been attacked, hoping to find a safe place. And while outside trying to get in, the guys that are attacking her are calling her he, she, faggot, tranny, all the above, and the clerk still did not let her in, where she was still continued to be attacked until the police were called. Police were called by a passerby, and a passerby got the police to show up. The police showed up, and she filed her report. Thankfully, she was not killed, because this is not far from the same area that we talked about where Zoe Spears was killed. This is literally 2 miles away from the same area. So I'm not here for it, because the same things continue to happen in the same places, unfortunately, to people that don't deserve this kind of treatment and should be safe enough to go home after they get off work. She is a manager at a local club and bar where a lot of the gay
providing
people,
a safe space for us to come have
a
fun.
lot of gay people
Yeah.
in the DC area go to at least once a month on the first Fridays, because we ain't got nowhere else black and gay to go to. It's typically a white space, but she is a manager there, a black trans woman, and now she's got to worry about how to get home from work from here on out. So this instance does not end with just the one attack that she's had. She's going to have to relive this attack every night that she gets off work. And I'm absolutely not here for it. Again, her name is Alicia Love. She's a friend of Impulse Group DC. She is a member of the Breaking Ground play that we often do and promote here in DC as well. So a member of our community being attacked, I am absolutely not here for it. I'm never going to be here for it. Stop the violence. Please protect trans women, especially trans women of color.
I love that. I didn't hear that story, but I love that. Can I say something that I am here for?
Yes.
Because I said I wanted to do that. Okay. So I am here for moments like this where individuals from our community are using their platforms to not only entertain the younger generation, but to also enlighten and educate and inform. I think platforms such as this one are necessary because it's not very often that we're able to log online and see stories affecting our community projected in mainstream headlines. So whenever there is a blogger or a podcaster or YouTube personality from our community, we have to support them, whether it be just by sharing their links, listening and watching their content, reading their stories, subscribing to their work, and paying for their content as well. Because it isn't free to produce on a regular basis quality work. So I'm definitely here for platforms and spaces like these. And I also want to thank you guys, and I'm here for you all opening your platform to me. Someone who may not be as well known to this present generation. I am eternally grateful for you guys inviting me here and sharing this moment with me. I think there needs to be more of this as opposed to a lot of the competition that exists where we feel as gay men that we can't reach out a helping hand to the other in fear that our space or opportunity or moment is going to be stolen or robbed from us. They say that there's room for everyone. And though I don't necessarily believe that, I do believe that, we can't grow and prosper as a community if everyone is about self. So I'm here for more moments like this. And
there will be. We appreciate you for, again, like we talked about at the top of the podcast, for already being a unapologetic Black and gay voice. And we look forward to hearing more because you have rejoined YouTube recently.
Yes.
And what's the title of your latest video? Cold 20 Man Down.
What's your new single? My song.
Columbia Records didn't quite tell me which one is the single. So
that caught me so off guard. It's called
The Mistreatment of Ballroom Boys.
Yes.
And Trans Women Who Pose in Real Life.
Yes.
Indeed. That one. Go check out your girl over on YouTube.
Xem says.
And see that. He had great commentary, again, like we've been talking about for most of the episode about ballroom culture. As someone that was directly in the ballroom culture and from
as a
the ballroom
spectator.
culture.
As a spectator. I've never walked a ball.
I thought you were in a ball.
No. I've never walked a ball ever in my life.
Well, I guess I'm more of an aficionado than you. I walk too.
Oh, wow. Here in D.C.?
No, Dallas.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. No, I've never walked. I've always been a spectator, and I've always had close friends who hold leadership positions in ball.
Okay. Well, that's a different experience because I was part of No House. I was just out there. I was like, well, girl,
you were 007.
I was a 007.
007.
I was definitely a 007 in the Dallas days.
Blanca.
Don't ask me what year.
Eventually.
Don't ask me what year. And so now it has come to our favorite part of the podcast. It is our last call. We will, yes, you will. We will do our last call to whatever subjects are going to be our last call.
Yeah.
And we are drinking tequila, our guest included. He don't want to, but he's here and
I'm toasting.
It's a part of the program.
Yep.
I'm toasting.
And he's going to be down. So take a shot with us as well.
Sorry, I had to whip my ponytail. Did you see me whipping my?
I did.
Very ironic.
I did.
I just want to say, hey, Beto O'Rourke, because he had lost down to the Texas after the Beyonce endorsement. I'm like, how do you lose after the Beyonce endorsement? That's not how this works. But my last call goes to Beto O'Rourke because he was down to the press junket, as a journalist, as a female journalist out in the beats, I'm out here in the streets with a potential presidential candidate. How do you feel, Beto O'Rourke, about Donald Trump's whatever? I could throw up
racist shit.
And he was like, look, he was holding his monster keys in his hand. It wasn't even a girl. It didn't even have a
father.
He was there to look, members of the press, y'all keep asking me these goddamn questions. And something. Y'all know what the fuck Donald Trump is down here doing. Use your context clues. I'm sick. Of course, as a person in the media, you get asked the same questions. As Tyra Banks, you get asked about Naomi Campbell. As Beyonce, you keep getting asked about other girls in the industry. As Roland Matters, you keep getting asked about girls you used to hang out with. Look.
Hang out is loose.
Use your context clues. Beto O'Rourke will try to use your fucking. What do you think I think about the goddamn Donald Trump comments about the damn mass shootings? Put that in the paper and say I said it. So I'm here for that. And also, my last call is also to Democratic Representative Veronica Escobar, who told Donald Trump, do not come to El Paso. Because
We don't want you here.
But, so just shout out to all the politicians who are willing to go on TV and publicly say, I have had enough. So shout out to all the politicians who just had enough. Don't come here. Bitch, use your context clues. Just everybody. Last call.
My last call is to the overall father. I'm sure some of you guys that have been listening for 2.5 years know exactly who I'm talking about. The overall father in my book, in your book, and everyone else's book is James Baldwin. James Baldwin's birthday was this past weekend. He is the most awarded, lauded, gay, black author, speaker, orator, community activist, HIV advocate, and he needs to be celebrated and talked about a lot more than he already is. I'm going to close with a quote from the late, great James Baldwin. The effort to be a writer is an act of love. It's an act of faith. Do the act. Do the act. So the effort in producing whatever your content is, creating whatever art you want to create, whether it be writing, whether it be video, whether it be pictures, whether it be graphics, whether it be porn, do the work. James Baldwin told you to. It was his birthday this past weekend. Grant him his birthday wish. That is my last call this week.
Again, special shout out to our guest, Xem Van Adams. Thank you for coming on this show. It means the world to both of us.
Thank you.
Where
for having
can
me.
the people find you online?
So I am Zim says XEMSAYS on Twitter and on Instagram. You can see my YouTube videos at youtube.com/Zim Van Adams, XEMVANADAMS. And on Facebook, I have 2 Facebook pages. So if you just type in Xem Van Adams, one of the 2 will come up. Yeah.
My name is Ronald Matters. Follow me on the internet at Ronald Matters. And of course, RonaldMatters.com.
I am still the Superman, TheeSupaman, and you will still find me where the bottoms brunch. Bye.
Take your Truvada.
Good night.